I believe every single drummer needs the 4 elements of what I call the 4-part framework. And that's ethos, flow, rhythm, and practice. So how do these impact your drumming? And what even are these? And how do our favorite drummers use these? So what I've noticed, and I've been playing drums for decades, I am completely obsessed with this. I absolutely love it. I feel like I'm just getting started. This is awesome. Every day we get to pick up the sticks and become a better version of ourselves through drumming. It's amazing. And I've been inspired by so many drummers over the years. You know what this is like when you see a band, you see your favorite drummers. Sometimes you're a kid, you start hearing those bands and you're like, oh, what is that? Who is that? I want more of that in my life. It really hit me once that the drummers that we love are actually speaking to us in who we want to be. So it's a clue and something that wants to come out in you, because we're all individuals. It's amazing to model ourselves over our favorite drummers, but in the end, we want to become a great version of us. So we have these 4 areas, and every single drummer on the planet needs these to become their best selves through drumming. So what are the 4 parts? Let's go into them. Ethos. This is confidence. This is who you are. This is what makes you unique. This is your persona. Flow. This is getting in the zone. This is your body language of mastery. This is how you get around the kit. This is martial arts, this is dancing, this is the physicality and expression that is drumming. Rhythm, that's the language that you express yourself with. That's what you say with the grooves, the fills, the soloing. That's what you're saying, that's what you're hearing in your mind and heart, and that's what you're outputting on the kit. And of course, practice. That's like, what are the habits and routines that make you who you are and get you to your goals and make you a world-class version of yourself. So I thought it'd be fun to use a case study of some of my favorite drummers, and you can see how they get there. Because what I believe is no drummer that's amazing, they're not missing any of these pieces. They have all 4 pieces. They got it from somewhere. I don't care who you are. I don't care who you name. If you're not getting to where you want to go, something in there is lacking. And I know for me, I struggled with this at the beginning for many, many years. Many years. It felt like decades. It felt like 100 years. Not a good feeling to have bits and pieces of the whole, but not have that foundation. And I know for bands I've seen, sometimes I'll see a band and like the opening band isn't, you know, you're like, they're good, something's missing. It's usually one of these pieces are missing. And anybody you love and admire that inspires you to be a better version of yourself on the kit, they're gonna have these pieces. So hit me back with some case studies that you'd like to see. I have 3 that I'd love to dive into right now, 3 of my favorites: Tony Williams, Chad Smith, and Carter Beauford. So let's use all 3 as a case study. So let's do Chad Smith first. Now let's think ethos. Like, does he have confidence when he plays? Does he have a persona? Does he have a vision of what his goals were? Heck yeah. Now, I know from hearing a little bit about his story, one of my mentors was Dom Famularo, that knew Chad Smith very well. And he was determined. Like, he moved out of his town. I think he moved to LA. He was going to like every single audition. He just could not be stopped. Could not be stopped. Quitting is not an option. He had a vision. He was going to get there no matter what. What's the definition of perseverance? Quitting is not an option. And we also have this in persona. And this is big in hip hop. Like, I love hip hop. And if you look at just whoever are your favorites in that area, they have to be coming at what they do with a massive amount of confidence. And they even have like, you know, names for their personas. So you can think like Method Man or Nas or Eminem. I love that in that field where they name their persona. Or you could even think of Kiss, the band Kiss, right? Like Paul Stanley became the star child, and that was like his persona. It's almost like a character. where it's you, but it's like an amplified version of yourself. So when Chad, he's got the backwards hat, he's like having fun, he's energetic, he's got band t-shirts of his favorite bands, like that's his persona, that comes out. Now flow, when you see Chad play, I love the way he flows around the kit. That's the body language of what we call inner power. So he flows around the kit, he's commanding it. If you think martial arts, dance, that's that flow. And rhythm, that's like the grooves Chad plays. I heard him say something once, he's like, man, I'm playing the same grooves I've always played, and I'm always trying to make them better and bring them to whoever artist I'm playing with and just elevate the music. So I love that. And practice. What I notice about Chad is he's constantly playing with different artists and always playing music and challenging himself. So that's so cool with those 4 areas. And I don't know him personally, but he would have got those 4 areas from different sources, different mentors, different things that he does. And you could just imagine if he had one of those areas but didn't have another. Like imagine he had amazing technique, but he had no vision and no confidence. Or imagine he had all the confidence in the world, but he never practiced. Or imagine, his rhythm wasn't coming out right, or his technique was stiff. He's got all the areas to make him come into focus. Now the next one, Carter Beauford from Dave Matthews Band, one of my absolute favorites. Big fan of all he does. So you think Ethos, he's smiling, he's more like laid back, he's always inspiring the audience and just uplifting the room. His flow, totally different flow than Chad Smith's. Got kind of like a bouncy thing. This is how he gets around the kit. And rhythm, he somehow makes busy rhythms fit into the music. I don't know how he gets away with some of the he plays a lot of notes, and that's his expression, which I love about him. And of course, practice. He's constantly challenging himself. He's constantly trying like different things and new things and reinventing himself. Now, you could do this case study with all of your favorites, and I want you to hit me up. Give me some drummers you'd like to analyze in these areas. Last one we'll do today, one of my favorites, Tony Williams. Tony Williams. And just think these 4 areas, how different he is and how refined he uses them to speak his voice and his bold expression through drumming, which is what Life Through Rhythm is all about. So Ethos, to me, that's like those yellow drums and the black dots. That's like something that was so him. And the big drums, he's playing jazz, but he had those giant drums and big thick sticks. I love that. And flow, he had like a way he commanded. He was almost like directing the music and just like really commanding the set. So his flow is super unique. His rhythm, man, Tony was just ferocious in the rhythms that he came up with. Really a master of dynamics, a master of creativity. And practice, what I love about Tony, one of my biggest influences, something I learned about him, the last few decades of his life, he studied orchestration. So this is how to compose for an orchestra of over like 100 voices, and you've got that big composer's sheet music thing that they've got. It's like this giant piece of paper, and you're literally writing out all the voices. Okay, this is what the oboes are doing. This is what the horns are doing. This is what the percussion's doing. What an art. And that's what he practiced, which affected his expression on the drum. So isn't it cool that we could take these case studies? These were 3 that I wanted to share with you: Chad Smith, Carter Beauford, and Tony Williams, and these areas of ethos, flow, rhythm, and practice, and how any drummer that you love, you can see how they have a well-rounded, holistic view of everything. They have a solid foundation, they have no missing pieces, but that's what makes them unique. No 2 drummers are alike. So I believe every drummer needs to have some filled in picture of these areas. So I'd love to hear from you. Let me know who you want to see featured on here. And that's what we do in the LTR Drumming Collective. Life Through Rhythm This is your best self through drumming. We have a world-class community. We are stronger when we drum together. We can get to a further place higher than ourselves when we connect with others that push us to a place we couldn't have got to on our own. And world-class training where you have a step-by-step system to fill in all these areas so you become your best self through drumming. And you can just maximize the time that you have on your kit and become the best you can be in everything you do in life. So connect with me on the path. I'd love to meet you in the community. Let's become our best selves through drumming.